How's it going, people? We are back. We are back a
With
couple
the
of days.
crying emoji.
Yeah, too late, I think. I think we needed to just sit back and reflect on what the fuck we just, happened to see on Sunday night. So, disclaimer, this is going to be a brief grief session, like how we were talking about before the podcast. So I've got three major questions for you guys today. So reflecting on the Clasico. One, do you think Carlo deserves more time? Two, is this a minor blip in an otherwise overachieving season? Number three, is dependence on youth and young talents the way to go forward for Real Madrid? Anybody can go first.
Let's take that from the first question then. Should Carlo get more time? Okay, I think I froze. Was it? So should Carlo get more time? I yes and no. He should get at least at the he should finish the season. We shouldn't sack him mid-season. I don't think that's a good thing for anybody. But after that, I don't think he should stick around because yes, we are on the verge of winning La Liga and we'll probably win La Liga. Yes. It's even though it's not the most exciting football most of the time, it's a lot more exciting than last season of Zidane being here, which was basically just there was no fun there. It was just winning, but zero fun in watching those games. But you know, there's pluses and minuses, and you can always see what the minuses are more than the pluses, because pluses, I think most of the wins are out of individual brilliance than tactics. Yes, tactics, of course, we should take that in, but Benzema and Vinicius just in mostly Benzema in just great form. Modric doing his thing. Courtois saving us a lot of the time. Militao and uh, Militao and Alaba are a great partnership, and yes, it's also about the coach. But at the end of the day, you see more of just at least up front, just Benzema doing his magic, and that's how we end up attacking, or just Asensio shooting from 70,000 meters away, or just Vinicius running and giving a pass to Benzema. Yes, Ancelotti says all of that, but I don't think he is under control of any of it. He's like, yeah, do this, do that, but at the end of the day, it's still on them. I can't, like, you when you watch Bayern and you see a well-oiled machine, I don't see that well-oiled machine here. I see Real Madrid and its players doing their thing. So I think we should start looking for a new coach after this season. The second question about youth, right?
Yeah.
You we should just implement it. Like, yes, we should have KCM, not maybe not always at the same time. Actually, probably we shouldn't have them at the same time most of the times. Valverde and Camavinga had their playing, were playing, then Ancelotti decided not to play them, decided now he has finally decided to play them again. But we don't know if he's gonna drop them again or not. I think they should get regular play time, at least like each of them should get like 45 minutes per game.
Mm,
Maybe swap out for each other. You know, they can play the same position if something happens. Uh, Vinicius is getting playtime. Rodrigo is, I guess, he's not getting that much playtime, but when he plays a lot of the time, I think he doesn't really deserve to play like all the games. Neither does Asensio, so that's a big problem.
mm,
What I miss is mostly Miguel and Blanco, because
mhm,
I think they were really good. They were really good. Especially Miguel. Yes, Mendy's really important, and we get statistics like today I read 26 games for Mendy, and we conceded only 19 goals, and 19 games without Mendy, 16 goals conceded. So, you know, or something
I think it's the
like,
worst. It's 16 games
yeah,
without
yeah,
Mendy
yeah,
and
yeah.
19 conceded.
Exactly. So Mendy's really important, but I think Miguel should get a lot of playtime. And I don't even know where he is right now. I think he's playing for Castilla, right? But we
Yeah,
haven't
he's
heard
playing for
from him
Castilla.
for so long. We haven't heard from Blanco for so long, and what I'm scared of is losing them, because they will want to get like senior caps, and if they're not gonna get it at Real Madrid, they're gonna get it for like I don't know, they're gonna go to
PSG,
like
like Hakimi did.
Getafe, Sociedad, something, uh, at least for a start. And we all know how Real Madrid academy graduates work out for us if they play for a different team. So they're gonna score goals against us for sure.
Mm,
So I think Ancelotti has a real big problem there as well, and he really needs to take care of that. But I don't see him doing it. There's zero chance. We finally got to see Camavinga play again and Valverde play again. I think the fact that if anybody expects Ancelotti to play Miguel and Blanco, there is a massive stretch.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah. One more point that I think you missed out on. The last question was: is this a blip
No.
in a season that we are seems to be overachieving?
I think what I've noticed is we tend to play. Yes, Real Madrid always loses points against small teams, but
Mm,
we are really confident against them, at least like 95% of the time against small teams. And when we play against big teams, and there's a big contrast with when we played big teams against Zidane, I never worried about playing big teams against when we had Zidane. It
mm,
was on the contrary. I was worried when we played small teams. When it was big teams, yeah, just stone cold. Now,
yeah.
when a game starts against a big team, in the first 2 minutes, you can already see how much Ancelotti is terrified of the other team, because because our players are just sitting back, giving the ball away. Like, why are we giving the ball away? Why are we playing on counters? We can
Mm,
hold the ball. It's like when we play big teams, it reminds me of when we play Getafe or Mallorca or somebody, and in that matter, we are Getafe and Mallorca. We're not Real Madrid when we play big teams, and that is, I don't think that's a blip. I think that's just Ancelotti being terrified of big teams. And against PSG, second, we didn't play second leg well. We did not. That's a
no,
fact.
no,
We
no.
played last 30 minutes well, and that's not because of something Ancelotti did. Yes, Ancelotti put
Stop.
better tactics than the first leg, but in the end, it came down to Donnarumma fucking up and Benzema utilizing on that fuck up.
Yeah.
And after that, the PSG panicked. We didn't just suddenly become a godlike team. No, just
Mm,
PSG crumbled so hard,
Mhm.
even Castilla would be able to beat them at that point.
I would slightly argue the point that Carlo didn't have anything to do with it. Like he had something to do with it because his subs made all the difference. Like for me, I always find this baffling because in the big high profile games, like how long can you trust KCM, man? Like it's getting out of hand. Like Farouk and Hoke, what do you guys think?
Yeah, let Farouk speak first.
So actually, I'd answer the first question. Like you say, you asked about should Carlo go. I think for sure, like Carlo Ancelotti should go. Because the thing is that we stay now. Like, okay, when I mean he should go, he shouldn't go now. Obviously, he has to go at the end of the season. And I think we discussed this earlier in one of the shows before. So the thing becomes this: last season we lost the title on the last day of the season, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference between last season and this season? Atletico regressed. Suarez is no longer the Suarez of last season, which means literally put Zidane in the same situation as this season. You win that hands off. In the Champions
Maybe win it by a bigger margin.
it's not maybe, it's a short thing. Like you're gonna win La Liga hands down as long as you have the quality of the players you have. Because as we've seen, like it's not like there's a grand tactics or like there's a master plan somewhere. It's just a bunch of players keep playing. Like when they show up, you win. Eventually, you overwhelm 15 of the 20 teams in La Liga as long as you have the squad that Real Madrid has. So it's just up to the remaining 4 teams. Like you win, you draw, you lose, things like this. Eventually, you win the title. If last season was this season, we would have won the title because what happens is Suarez regressed, which means Atletico Madrid regressed, which means we would have won the title. The second thing is he went to the semi-final of the Champions League. So maybe Carlo eventually eliminates Chelsea and he gets knocked out by Man City or whatever happens in the Champions League as well. So it's gonna be like just a similar trend. Like it's a similar trend. Like there's nothing like hugely new there, Yeah. And actually, the thing is this: you question about the fact that is this a blip in the overachieving season? I think we didn't overachieve. I think we just played against inferior teams in the league, and eventually, like our individual quality, as Nodo rightly pointed out, our individual quality came to the fore. You understand? So that's the thing about this. So when you go on the other hand as well, you talk about youth and all this. The point is, I've always said this: like as long as you can do the work job, it doesn't matter if you're 1 year or 2 or 15 or 20 or 40. You understand? As long as you are fit and you have the skills to get on the field, you have to do stuff. But the point is that I don't understand how, for example, we I think we talked about Modric before we started the show, like how it's possible on earth, like you can take a Ballon d'Or winner and make him look like a fool on the pitch for a whole 90 minutes. How is that even possible? Like, I mean, like the person who succeeded in doing this should even be recognized. Like he should be awarded, really. Like the fact that you succeeded in doing this, like it's an achievement on its own, really. Like it's quite unfortunate, to be honest. Like I don't know, like
it's the indictment on Carlo because I've always said this on the podcast. Like unless and until he grows like an extra brain cell to actually fucking rotate the squad, like he's gonna falter like in cinematic fashion.
I don't think the Clasico team was about rotation of the squad or people being tired. I just think it was just pure
No. What I meant is he should have rotated the lesser used players beforehand so that they get a feel of game time and would be better integrated to the starting 11 come Clasico.
Okay, so let me propose a counter question to you then. The thing now becomes, has there ever been one single player in the history, okay, like at least since I started watching football, absence automatically disintegrates everything a team is made of? Has there ever been such a player? Like, for example, Karim Benzema. Benzema was out, and like we were like playing like boys in the street, man. Not even school kids, man. Like kids who were not even school grades kids yet. I don't know if there's ever been that one player that totally disintegrates everything you guys
the
know.
thing is when you're actually watching the match live, you tend to get carried away with the hyperbole that, oh my God, one guy is missing and the team doesn't know who they are. I think it's more of a fact that once Benzema wasn't available, the decisions Carlo went ahead with was crazy, man. Like how do you fucking play Modric and Kroos as two strikers?
Hello?
Yeah, for me personally, I think the point that you're making, the thing is like, if you had asked before the match, like 8 out of 10 people would have gone with the lineup that Carlo went with, right? But the thing is like the tactics were the issue. Playing Modric as false line is like sacrilege for me. It's like Modric whenever he has done interviews, and you talk to him, he says, I like the ball to be in front of me. That is that he likes to build from behind the ball, he wants to play in the middle third and in the last third more than he likes playing in the final third and have the ball come to him like an attacking midfielder would. So I think playing him there was like one of the biggest mistakes that Carlo Ancelotti did. And the thing is, like, I said this before, it was like Carlo Ancelotti decided that, okay, fine, we are missing one of our key pieces. Let's just remove another one of our key pieces by playing Modric in the front line. So that was the first mistake for me. And, the thing is, like, you're talking about rotations, but the issue is, like, whenever he has tried playing players like Luka Jovic, have they delivered? The thing is, this guy, if he had persisted with Luka Jovic and played him in more games, he would have lost more games, right? And the fact that we have a 9-point lead today would not have been true, maybe. Because, whenever you see Luka Jovic playing, it's like this guy has absolutely no body language. He has no ability to impose himself on the game. And his impact on the game has been pretty poor, Before 2022 came in 2021, especially against the game against La Real, when Jovic came on as a substitute, he played very well. But the thing is, like, when 22 came around and he was playing against Elche, he played 2 games. And I think Luka Jovic decided that he was going to take a hammer to his chances of playing ever again for Real Madrid, because those 2 games were horrible. And the thing is, like, how does Carlo Ancelotti bring himself to trust these people in a game like Clasico, So I think he went with the best players, but the thing is, like, his tactics were bad. He should never have played Luka Modric as a false 9. The pressing that he employed was pretty bad because nobody knew who was supposed to initiate the press. Sometimes it was Cruz, sometimes it was Modric, sometimes it was Valverde. And even, that Vinicius was pressing Ter Stegen. Like, how do you press Ter Stegen? Like, what made you decide that? So for me, it was a failure of tactics. And I think personally, after the game, I was like very disappointed. And I thought Carlo Ancelotti should be immediately fired. But like, honestly, having cooled down, I think the remaining period is going to be very, let's say, filled with mines for Carlo Ancelotti, because one mistake and I think
who's the other person laughing in the background?
It's me. Hi.
It's Ria. Can't you see?
Oh, I
Yeah.
can't see her.
You can't see her?
Oh, she's here. Okay.
Yeah, I
Fair.
just joined 10 minutes ago.
Okay. Fair. Go
I
ahead.
don't.
Okay.
No, so basically that's my point, right? I think Carlo Ancelotti, from now until the end of the season, he has a very difficult stretch to negotiate. For me personally, yeah, I would have fired him after the game, but it's like I mean, that game was an embarrassment, right? So, but the thing is, like, let's see what happens.
Actually, more, I think, irrespective of what happens till the end of the season, like, Carlo should go, because the point is, like, you're trying to usher in a new generation of players, like, you're trying to get this young, exciting players like the Mbappes and the Haalands and whoever, the Orient Tremani and all those others, like, do you want to leave them to the guy who is famed? Okay, like, with all due respect to Carlo Ancelotti, he has won so much that we can't say shit about him. But like, the major thing about Carlo has always been that he's been the man manager, But the point now becomes like, we're dealing with youngsters who need like people to coach them in the right directions. You get what I'm trying to say? For example, you can just look at a lot of City and Liverpool players. Like, when you check, like, eventually when they came to these clubs, like, they weren't that good. But like, they were coached and morphed into like world-class players. I think the prime example can be Andrew Robertson of Liverpool. Like, the guy was literally relegated from Hull City, and all of a sudden he was like the best fullback in the world.
I mean, he did not move all of a sudden to Liverpool, right? He moved to Liverpool because despite being in that Hull City team, he was incredibly good. So the thing is not like, at this level, even like coaches like Jurgen Klopp, they cannot go and tell you how to play. When a player is coming to Real Madrid, you expect the fact that he is already a good player. He knows what to do. Carlo Ancelotti can provide instructions, which I think he failed miserably in the Clasico. But like, he cannot train players and make them into somebody they are not.
That's what I'm trying to say to you now. The point is that for these guys to raise their games, the point is, okay, you can either go and buy the likes of Ashraf Hakimi, who are already ready-made players, okay, or you can go and buy players who are of lesser versions like that of them. So this is the thing. Like, I think like there's Mazraoui from Ajax, for example. I think he is a prime example of this. He's a fullback who has a lot of potential there. So you can develop him to become a very good fullback, or you can go and buy a ready-made fullback, which was the case when in 2009 when Perez decided to go and buy the Benzemas and the Kakas and the Alonsos and when the Arbelos and so on. So these are people who were already ready-made players. These were the people who were the best in their positions already. So unless you're going to go there and do that again, I think you need to find someone who actually can build these players, someone who can grow these players into the world-class players they need to be. So that's also something else also.
I think personally, Nusayr Mazraoui is already 24, 25, so I don't know how much potential he has left to develop.
When
I
Robertson
think we could reach for better players than.
I think when Robertson, whether he was 24 or 25, when Andy Robertson went to Liverpool.
Yeah, but Andy Robertson was already a pretty good player. You know,
No.
even Van Dijk at Southampton was a pretty good player when they went to Liverpool.
Yeah, from what Andy Robertson was. I don't know if you remember, when Robertson came to Liverpool, he couldn't dispose, what's he called? Alberto Moreno from the fullback position. Moreno was injured and they played even James Milner before they played Andy Robertson. So this is what I'm trying to say to you. Like, if I'm not saying he's
the thing is, like, you know, when you are playing around a level of players that Liverpool has, the Van Dijks and etc., that's when you raise your levels. I think Liverpool's defense was pretty bad before Van Dijk came in, right? When Van Dijk came in, he was able to cover for the deficiencies that players like Robertson have, like players like Trent Alexander-Arnold have, which allowed them to blossom. So when players are coming to Real Madrid, let's be honest, we're not going to buy scrubs, right? We're going to buy players who are at the top of their game. Like, let's be honest, who are we being linked with? We're being with Kylian Mbappe. Who is going to develop him more? You know, the thing is, like, these players develop with competition. So I don't think it's necessarily an issue of signing a manager who is going to teach players how to play a certain style, because I don't think that's the style of Real Madrid.
Creating the right environments for players to develop into what they need to become. Because the point is that you're talking about Kylian Mbappe. I feel like there's still a huge ceiling for Kylian Mbappe still out there. Even there's still a huge ceiling for Ireland out there. When you go,
I get your point. I get your point.
You think the thing is these players are already world class, right? Let's take an example of a player who might have been in a similar situation.
That kind of model won't work for Real Madrid because we need success.
No, I just want to make a point, okay? The thing is, like, when Cristiano Ronaldo was, let's see where Cristiano Ronaldo was there in 2013, right? Carlo Ancelotti came and he told him, okay, fine, let's do this. Let's have you go into the box more. So these are some subtle changes that managers can tell players to make, but managers cannot teach players how to play the game of football. Like, the manager cannot tell Cristiano Ronaldo, you know, this is how you should shoot and whatnot. Because when Rafa Benitez tried this, the whole dressing room revolted against him.
Yeah,
so I think
but
personally,
didn't Sir Alex Ferguson basically teach Ronaldo everything? That's what Ronaldo says.
yeah, sure. Alex Ferguson taught everything to Ronaldo, and what about the others? What happened to Gabriel Obertan and the others?
Oh yeah, they implemented their own things, but
I mean,
basically...
honestly, the thing is, like, players come to Real Madrid when they already have developed their skill set, you know. So, like, personally, I do agree that Carlo Ancelotti's job should be under threat, but it's not like he should be gone completely, even if he wins the Champions League or if he wins the
Champions League, man. That's just it, man. Like, the man is an old man, man. He's he belongs in the same group as Mourinho, in my opinion. Like, good coaches, but man, they're people of the past.
He was never a guy to tinker with tactics too much. Like,
that's what I'm trying to point out. You know,
his son is the one, I think, devising all the plans at the moment.
Sorry.
His son, right? Like David Ancelotti. Like, I think he's helping him get the.
I mean, I don't really know how you can say Carlo Ancelotti's never been a good tactician when the fact is, like, Real Madrid essentially followed his blueprints for 6 years, you know, before he came back.
I meant an elite tactician, like the ones that reinvent the way modern football is played.
I mean, if you're looking for managers who reinvent modern football, there's probably going to be like
I don't want managers who reinvent the game at Real Madrid, because I don't think they'll be given enough time to even, you know, get through a shitty period or two, like, to be honest. But I'm just telling you, Carlo was never the guy to completely change the game. He never was.
I mean, he's not completely changed the game, but the fact is, like, this guy has the ability to adapt his style, adapt the whole team around the players that he has, you know, adapt his tactics. The fact, for me, the surprising aspect was, like, in the Clasico, he failed miserably at doing that. For me, that was the biggest thing. Apart from that, yeah, I don't really know. If he fails miserably, he should go, but I don't know.
I think you mentioned the key thing. Like, I think that's the best thing about Carlo, and I think he said that himself. Like, he adapts himself. Like, he doesn't have a philosophy. Like, he just uses what he has, and I think that's one of the major reasons why he came back to Real, like, for the second stint. It was that, okay, they understand that, they know that this is someone who is not going to complain. He's just going to get what he has and use it the best way he can.
He's a safe option.
Yeah, so that's the thing, you understand. And when the point Sunil is trying to make is that it's not like someone who is going to be like automatically change everything you know about football. No, the point is Antonio Conte went to England, for example, and he saw that these guys were playing freestyle football, and then he taught tactical, detailed movement of every single movement the players had to make on the pitch. They practiced it on the training, and they brought it out on the pitch. Similar thing with Pep as well. They have, like, how can I say, like they haven't revolutionized the football actually, but like they've introduced new ideas, you know. So that's what I'm saying. Like in my opinion, I feel like someone like Carlo, I don't know, doesn't have these ideas or like can't introduce these ideas anymore. This is
I mean, these ideas cannot work with teams like Real Madrid. You know, the thing is like Rafa Benitez, when he came to Real Madrid, he tried to teach Sergio Ramos where to position himself on corners.
Honest, like with all due respect to Rafa Benitez, what has he won? What has he shown?
He has won a Champions League. You know what I'm talking about?
He's won the league. Like
he's won the Champions League. He's won La Liga with Valencia.
He's won he's won La Liga with Valencia, right? So I'm talking.
He's won La Liga with Valencia. He's won with Champions League with Liverpool. I mean, Rafa Benitez is not a scrub.
I'm not saying he's a scrub, but what I'm just trying to say to you now is this: like when you check the CV of Rafa and see what he has done. You understand? So the point is that with Rafa Benitez, like he was even labeled as a defensive coach in England. Actually, he was playing with Gerrard and he was playing with what's he called?
The point I'm trying to make is not about what the level of coach is. The point I'm trying to make is like some of these things you cannot implement at Real Madrid. You know, the thing is, like you talked about Antonio Conte, right? And you said
let me give you a prime example now. It's with Mourinho. You know what I'm saying? When Mourinho came, like he elevated a lot of players. Ozil B, Khedira B, you know, even Cristiano himself. Like even
I mean, the thing is like Mourinho.
I always credit like.
Oh, fine. Let's just go.
So Mourinho.
We gotta ask Rhea first what she thinks about Carlo.
I'm sure he's not going to be nice.
I'm thinking that he's trying to win La Liga against the small teams, and he doesn't care about the big teams, because after the two PSG legs and this Clasico, the team just looked like kids chasing the ball. Other than that, the player didn't know what they were doing, what they had to do, and what the coach wanted to do with them. So they were all lost like that on the ground.
Ria, do you think this is a minor blip in an overachieving season, or is this something that you saw coming way long ago?
I kind of agree with Modo that Carlo is not strong. It's not good against these strong teams. He does not know how to go with the plan against the strong teams. And I felt like just because we lost Benzema, he panicked and he just created a playing 11 like without any considerations, and like Modric plays false signs and everything was a mess. It was a mess regarding the tactics. So I felt like it was doing a blunder.
I've one another point that I would like to address to the panel, which I thought was quite alarming. If you guys notice our high-profile games this season and how Carlo Ancelotti initially sets us up, like especially in the first 20-30 minutes, where we are ultra conservative, deep block, trying to minimize any sort of spaces. When we play against that against a team that who know when to press and they have an organized press like how Barca did, do you guys think they can cut us open like knife through butter? Like, is it that easy?
The thing is, like, Carlo Ancelotti ditched his normal strategies for this game. That was the biggest issue. You know, the thing is, like, ever since the PSG first leg, there was a huge criticism about his style of implementing conservative play. You know, the thing is, like, we always talked about this. Carlo Ancelotti likes to set up Real Madrid in a mid block and a low block of 4-4-2, right? The thing is, like, against PSG in the second leg especially, we had a lot of pressing game going around because of the fact that we had Benzema. It worked somehow, but maybe initially it did not work. And the fact is that we would be exposed to transitions was something we talked about, and we were exposed to transitions. But the thing is, like, against Barcelona, without Benzema, we had no press initiator, because this time again he ditched his strategy of going with a mid block and a low block, and he started pressing everybody, and then we did not have a press initiator.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Like, if our defenders, especially Militao, who was an abomination on Sunday, how we completely lost the notion of when to press. Like, he completely rushed out on, I think, at least 10 times that I could count in one half. That's mad. Like, how can you do that? Like, in the biggest game of the season, like how can you do that?
For me, the issue is like simply the fact is, like, we did not have a leader. You know, the thing is, like, Benzema is the central focal point of this team. Even when we had the ball, we did not know what to do with it. because we missed Modric in those key areas deeper in the field, we do not know how to defend those areas, because with all due respect of Valverde, Cruz, and Casemiro, they cannot do what Modric does, you know. So the thing is, like, for me, Modric and Benzema are like two of the most key players in this team currently. Whenever Vinicius and Rodrigo got the ball, I don't know what they were doing with it. So for me personally, because Carlo decided to go with this disorganized pressing thing, that's why we lost the game. That's why we were open to Barcelona, because once you let a team like Barcelona, the way Xavi is playing, when you let them have the ball and dictate the tempo, they're just going to cut through you. Like, there is no answer. And then in the second half, I don't know what he did. Like, he removed a center back. He went to a 3 center back formation with Casemiro or whatever he did. Like, that was horrible, man. I literally, my eyes were bleeding out seeing that.
You know, what I think, no, like, Alaba was much worse than Militao was for me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Alaba was just terrible. If Militao was bad, Alaba was atrocious. In the end, he did try to do some things in the attack, but you know, on headers, the headed goals that they scored in the first half, I think more than Militao, it's on Alaba. He should have played much better than he did. You know, okay, I'm not gonna blame the offside on him, I guess, but just looking at Alaba that game, he did, if anything he could do wrong, he did. So it's not just
I mean,
about
we've discussed
Militao, I
this
think.
many times on the pod, right? The fact is, like, Alaba does not know how to defend aerial process. Aerial balls, he's like a headless chicken, you know, deer in the headlights kind of thing. And the fact is,
Yeah.
like, he does not know how to position himself. And that was like, I am in fact more surprised of the fact that no other manager has so far decided to take advantage of it, you know. Like, Xavi has done it twice already. Like, he did it in the Super Cup. He's done it again in the Classic, like the League Clasico. So
I think it's more of a case of, I don't think managers are completely oblivious to the fact that, you know, our center backs are weak really. I think they do try their best, but I don't think throughout the whole season Alaba had a game as bad as this. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't.
He did not. This was his
Yeah.
worst game
And
in
not a short
Real
period.
Madrid, for sure.
Ria, you had something to say?
No, I was saying it was the bad game as a whole team. It's just not the player. No one was actually good.
I mean, they were completely lost tactically. I don't know what Carlo was doing. Like, what sort of tactics he came up with.
It was looking like they didn't know what to do over there, how to stop Barcelona, maybe.
I think Courtois even came out of the game and said we did not know what the coach was telling us to do. So there, you know, there's that, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they made actually Barcelona look really, really good.
I mean, Barcelona are actually good. If you've been watching them ever since Xavi came back, Barcelona have improved like tremendously.
Since Xavi and few other signings, right?
Sorry?
Since they have signed Xavi and other few guys, young guys.
Yeah, I mean, signing Xavi and especially Ferran Torres helped, but I'm surprised by how big of an impact.
The guy from Arsenal who scored twice against us.
Yeah, I was gonna mention it. You know, like the guy who Sunez Arsenal somehow ditched in Aubameyang. I don't know what Arteta sees in the training field. I mean, this guy was supposed to be finished. What is this, Sunez?
No, he actually put a picture on Instagram saying hello from the finished player.
Yeah, do you think that was pointed towards Arteta?
Like, to be fair, he wasn't finished. Like, he's a player who always gets goals. Like, he obviously lost a yard of pace or two, but he has his that poacher instinct. But that's not the thing. See, this puts our whole season into perspective. Like, right now, how do you guys think we would be dealing with Chelsea in like a couple of weeks' time and their midfield, to say the least?
Oof. I don't even want to think about it. I don't think that's gonna go well. I mean, you know, Ancelotti was like, "Oh, I made a mistake. It's not gonna happen again." But it's gonna happen again, and we're gonna see that against Chelsea. We will.
If he trusts his old guns to bail him out again, I think he's in for a terrible surprise.
Yeah, the thing for me is like, and you asked this question at the beginning, right? How do you think the youth should be integrated? For me, the point is like, I think Cruz has declined as the season has gone on. You know?
Terribly. Either that or he's completely not recovered from his previous injury, Negro, I think.
Yeah. The thing is like whatever injuries he had, I think he's not really in his prime, like prime sharpness or whatever. But the thing is,
Yeah.
like for me personally, I think Cruz should be dropped. I think
Mm.
for me, whatever I've seen from these games is like Modric is an absolute necessity.
Yeah.
You go with Casemiro because I don't think anybody can help out defense like Casemiro can. And I think the third spot should be up for debate between Camavinga, Valverde, and Cruz. And
Yeah.
going against Chelsea, I think if we go with Cruz, Casemiro, and Modric, I think we will struggle because, especially if Benzema is not there. If Benzema is not there, I think we should just we should give up.
All in Benzema's hands. It's all
Yeah.
in.
I think Benzema is gonna play for France, no?
No. He pulled out.
Ah, he pulled out of the squad. All right.
Yeah, they replaced him with Olivier Giroud. So.
The racing card is back, boys. But, yeah.
But actually, for me, personally, like I'm not too that daunted about the game against Chelsea because like Chelsea is no longer the Chelsea of last year. Like I've seen a lot of Chelsea games and like really Chelsea has deteriorated, really. Okay, like because the point is we're still Real Madrid of last year. We didn't improve and we didn't decline as well. But like I think Chelsea has deteriorated a bit. So I would actually, for me, I would just like eliminate Rodrigo from the Asensio whoever plays and play KCM and add Valverde or Camavinga, whoever the coaches decide to play, into the midfield and as a hybrid winger midfielder.
The reason that I'm wary of Chelsea is because of their midfield, bro. Like how Hoke earlier was heaping praises on Barcelona. Yeah, I admit that they are miles better than the way they started off. But I've watched their games against Galatasaray, bro. Galatasaray is a Turkish Premier League side. They couldn't score against them at their own turf. You know, imagine that. They're good, but it's not something like we made them look good. That's what happened, I think.
You should also accept the fact that against Galatasaray, the first leg, like the goalkeeper of the Turkish team pulled up a lot of good saves. Like really,
I agree.
You know, so you have
even then, it is fucking Galatasaray, bro. Like
Barcelona have put on 4 goals like past 6 of the big teams in Spain. In the last month or so.
Run. Don't get me wrong, it's a good run. Like they deserve all the plaudits they are getting, but let's not get carried away in this hyperbole that Xavi is the next coming of Pep and he's gonna completely pip us to the title next season. Whatnot, like that.
I mean, yeah. Do you remember Ole starting off against with United, like 8-game winning streak? They left him.
25 match unbeaten streak.
He was not supposed to be a coach for United. He was just an interim coach. But then he won 8 games, and there was like, okay, Sir Alex Ferguson version 2, and yeah, then we know what happened. Nothing.
I mean, honestly, if you watch Xavi set up his team and you watch Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I don't think honestly you can compare between them.
It's very, very unfair to compare OGS to Xavi. Like you should watch, as you know, as Mo said, like watch the games and you can actually see, because it's the same thing as with Arsenal and Arteta as well. I've always said this, like you can compare Arteta with OGS as well, because the point is that you could clearly see like there was a pattern somewhere. Unlike with United with OGS, they were just playing free flow football, like let's just enjoy ourselves on the pitch. But like there is a pattern in what Xavi is doing. Like you could actually see that. And the thing is that, and the most craziest thing was this, as you guys were saying, like Vinicius was pressing Ter Stegen, Militao was just coming out. Like the point is that these guys, when you press them recklessly, which a lot of teams have done, that's when they slice you to pieces.
Yeah.
Sunil was talking about like the game against Galatasaray. I think so you can see like this guy played a low block, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. They played a low block. They were compact. Come at us if you can. You get
here on the podcast, Barcelona has signed another player as a free agent, Frank Kessie.
Yeah,
Kessie.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Barcelona. I think it's a matter of
signing players.
Actually, I read something earlier today that was saying like I forgot the name, but like the director of Barcelona, like he was actually targeting physical players. Actually, that's why they went to the Premier League and got Adama and Alba and Ferran Torres. Actually. Like they're targeting physical players, and that's actually it's worked so far. Anyways, like it's not about I think like discrediting Barca will just be similar to like the Paris game and saying like like Madrid didn't win, like PSG lost, something like this. So I think that's gonna, because like the point is like even if someone plays bad, you need to be there to like capitalize on that. And
they turned up.
Like, wow, like I don't know, man. Really. You know, you play the game and you just imagine, like, I don't think there's ever been a game. Okay, maybe the Liverpool game, like there was a Liverpool game we lost at Anfield 4-0, I think in 2009. I think other than that game, I haven't seen a goalkeeper make so much good saves in a game that he lost 4-0. Like, how is that even possible? I don't know. You know, so
Didn't was the 6-2 against Barcelona.
the 6-2 against Barcelona. The 6, I watched the 6. I watch the 6-2 against Barcelona. Yeah, that was at the Santiago as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know, man. For like, this felt more painful than the 6-2 against Barcelona. Actually,
I mean, this game we were completely toothless. You know,
I
the
think
thing
it
is, like,
just
we are the
feels
league
like
leaders.
it because it's happening now, but I mean, 6-1 is worse, I think.
I think
the thing is, like,
I don't know. I think like this was like, because the point is like, with this game we could have played till next year and we wouldn't have scored.
yeah, that's the point. You know, the thing is, another thing for me is like the fact that going into the game, which we lost 2-6 against Pep, the fact was like our team was pretty bad, you know.
Exactly. Yes.
And this time we are the league leaders. So for me, this one is like more painful.
That's what I mentioned in the group.
Like, the point is that we lost 6-2 to maybe arguably the best club team in the history of football, you know? But like literally you're losing 4-0 at the Bernabeu to people who don't even have names, man. Oh God.
I mean, it's not the best, even though, okay.
6-2, Barca wasn't at their peak, bro. Like, I don't
I mean,
think.
that's probably like the best version of Barca, but I wouldn't say it's the best club side ever.
Yeah. Also,
Sorry?
2019, you mean?
No, 2009, the Barca under Pep.
Yeah, that's the 2019. Yeah, as I said, arguably the best club ever. Like, that's just it. Like, it's up for debate. Everyone has.
Yeah, for me personally, it is not, but okay, like that was a pretty good team.
you're being a salty MF right there. Okay, let's just keep it moving. But the major thing that has bugged me all throughout this whole fucking ordeal is basically that whenever they go through a bad time, yeah, we manage to pip them 2-1 or 3-1.
Yeah.
But we don't give them a walloping like this. Why? Why can't we manage to, give them a route?
Man,
Ever?
I am praying for that day, man. If that day happens, man.
For me personally, the thing is like it's down to play styles. The fact is when you start passing around and when team starts chasing you, it's like you leave yourself vulnerable. The thing is like whenever a team chases Barcelona, Barcelona have the ability to put a lot of goals past you. But the thing is like once a team starts sitting low, Barcelona can't do anything. You know,
that's the thing.
And with our style, the thing is like we don't play that passing style, dragging players out and stuff.
No
but the thing is like
and
we play a much more measured game.
Over.
Yeah, exactly. So for us to score a lot is more difficult than for Barcelona, especially against teams that are attacking them as well. Because as you pointed out, Galatasaray played like I didn't watch the game, but I can guess the fact that they were conservative compared to us. And whenever a team is conservative against Barcelona going to score as much. But once teams start attacking them, it's like it leaves a lot of open spaces for them to exploit.
Well, any final thoughts
on the Barca game?
On the season as a whole?
I mean, the season is not over yet. We're still 9 points ahead of Sevilla, so we shouldn't be giving up hope. But the thing is, like that game was horrible. So
you don't foresee a catastrophic collapse or anything?
All season, Real Madrid have lost 3 games in the league, right? Including the last one.
Anything can happen in football.
I don't think it will. Touch wood. Okay, but I don't think it will.
That's good. And
he's an Arsenal fan, so like he's just not very sure what's gonna happen or what's not gonna happen.
Now's not the time, Farooq, honestly. No, it's not the time. But our next game is Celta Vigo away, and I think it's of paramount importance that we just get the job done again. I hope we can bounce back. And this, I think, do you guys agree this was the right wake-up call before a big last 2 months of the season?
I think if we're gonna actually learn from this, then yes, it's 100% good thing that this happened in that matter. But if we're gonna just keep doing this, then I don't know, we're just gonna embarrass ourselves a lot, even if we do win La Liga.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
he-
personally, I also did not want this big a lesson, so to speak, but I think that this has the potential to be one. But
So
like
I-
going into the game, I'm not ashamed to admit I didn't think we would win. We were missing Benzema, so but I think like I did not expect this bad a defeat.
Mm.
Like, let me just remind you, like 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, we had something similar against Paris. So I don't know, man. It's tough.
Right.
So,
I mean, that game against Paris and this game, like you can see the differences. That game we were compact and we only allowed one goal. In this game, we were like all over the place.
That's my
They
point.
slide that apart at will, you know.
okay, if you decide to press, you can't do it. If you decide to play low block and counter attack, you can't do it against the elite teams. Then what happens?
I mean, the issue in the game was the same as this one, right? Missing Benzema. Without missing Benzema, we could not execute the transitions.
Well, the
And
point
the
is,
fact is, like
like-
against PSG, the thing is, like we were setting up a very deep block instead of going with our traditional 2 blocks of 4, you know. So for me, that was the biggest problem with the PSG game. But the thing is, like, if you are going to press, like I don't know what that was, because that was not a press. Okay? There was just people running around like headless and stuff.
but in the second leg, even where the miracle happened, for 60 minutes, it was also garbage football.
I mean, for
Mm.
60 minutes we tried to press. It was a much better press than what we had today. But the
But
thing
we
is, like
also-
One
PSG exploited the quick transitions, right?
we also shouldn't forget that the whole comeback like happened purely down to the fact that Kamavinga, you know, and came on and completely revitalized our midfield. The whole low block thing is Carlo protecting his KCM, bro. Like, I think that's what it is. You know.
I mean, for me personally, that's not it. But the thing is, like, if you want to perceive it as that, it's okay. But for me, I don't think it is just about KCM. I think it is the fact that our best asset is Vinicius, and the best aspect of the game
You
that he
don't
has
think
is speed.
KCM plays a part in us being entirely, you know,
I mean, it all
lacking mobility in
dovetails
the midfield.
together, right? It dovetails together. It's not just because of KCM that we're playing a deep block. We're playing because if we sit conservatively and launch into quick transitions, that is the best opportunity that we have of score.
You could twist it that way, but I think KCM like majorly hinders our attack like completely. Like the lack of mobility has been bugging me for years. I can't like slate them when they have a good game. Like honestly, like I'm not flip flopping here. I'm just being honest. Like when they perform, we gotta give them their flowers. But when they don't, oh my god, they can look like non-league footballers.
Yeah,
I mean, personally, for me, Cruz has been a little bit bad over the last
Mm.
few weeks. But the thing is, like, I think so far we played conservatively because that was the thing that fit us best. Maybe if we bring in, like, let's say, Kamaving and Valverde, we'll be playing a different style, and we'll see how we perform then.
Mm.
I do think like the demise of Cruz has been overstated. I think it's been overblown. So I hope he gives a good performance in the Champions League and reminds all these losers that the guy is still like he's still the best in the business. So yeah, it is what it is.
He's a German sniper. I hope he comes back. You know, like he has a point to prove now. Like I think now the heat is properly on him. Like I think more than any time ever before.
Yeah, man, we need those guys back, man. Against this beast of a man named Kante, man. Like that guy, he gives me sleepless nights, man. I don't know.
Mm.
I hope we're able to counter him because the guy he's a one-man machine, man. Like he's a one-man midfield. Like I don't know. The thing about they saying give me Zidane 11 pieces of wood, something like that. I think just give a man Kante and everything is done, man. The man.
So you think Kante is better than Casemiro?
But they're two different players, I guess. So you can
Yeah,
actually.
exactly.
That's a nice way to dodge the question. But anyway, I think
Exactly.
I think I think that should wrap it up. People, any final thoughts before we go? Anybody?
Yeah, for me, I've already given my final thoughts.
Well, I think like I don't know. My final thoughts. I just hope for the best, but I kind of expect. I don't expect good things, to be honest. Not on Champions League at least. At this point in La Liga, it's like practically like impossible to just not win La Liga anymore for Real Madrid. They like if we somehow manage to bottle La Liga, I'm actually gonna refund that Modric shirt I was talking about.
Was it the
But-
black shirt? I hope it's not the black shirt.
No, I ordered it like during PSG game.
Oh my god, we didn't address
After the
that.
after that dribble by Modric, I just went online and just ordered it instantly. Yeah, what were you saying, Sunit?
No, like we didn't address the fucking black kit, man. How the fuck does Real Madrid at home use the black kit? That too in a Clasico. Do it against fucking Valladolid or Elche or like someone.
Yeah, maybe some team like Arsenal, maybe, you know, small teams.
Exactly, man. Go to the Emirates Cup and use the shirt, man. At least.
As
You're
you
completely-
said, for their own funerals.
Basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, that's the point. You know, Real Madrid knew it was going to be their funeral, so they were black.
Shouldn't have
Yeah,
done it.
somebody did write a comment like Real Madrid are going to the funeral, and somebody replied that, yep, Barcelona's funeral. Well, we were actually going to our own funeral, and we just didn't know it.
The white shirt is sacrilege. Like, how can you even for like absurd amounts of money? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah. If you remember, like against Chelsea last year, we were wearing black socks on a white shirt, and everybody blamed that as well.
But
So,
that
I mean, that was away, right? How do you wear black at home?
Hmm?
That was away. How do you wear black at home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, but
Well, the
I
shirt,
guess that's-
right? I liked the shirt. I don't know. We
Sorry?
don't. The
no, I
shirt-
like the
get one.
shirt as well, but you know now I don't.
You guys should totally get one and frame it, bro. Like, please.
Yeah. For the
I
good
mean,
memories, you know.
I mean, Sunil has a better tolerance for meltdowns because, you know, he's an Arsenal fan. But for us, like, this is something new. So it's going to
This guy, why do you choose violence, bro? We're on the up now, so just pipe
Oh
down.
man.
You move.
But,
Just wait till Conte and Spurs, gets the fourth position and Arsenal goes back to fifth.
don't talk to me about a team that doesn't exist. So I guess that's a wrap, guys. Until we see you next time. Also, if you like our content, do follow us on our Insta. Like and share our videos. You know, like that'll be of great help. We do this as much as we can. We are from different time zones, but we somehow manage to come together and manage to put out content regularly. And yeah, until we see you next time. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Ala Madrid.